Welcome today. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. I am glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. We are survivors. Welcome to everyone at Unity of Charlotte. Whether you're in the sanctuary, whether you're on Zoom, whether you're YouTube, or what's it called? Straight mental consciousness. My name is Fred Monroe. I can say it because it says so right here. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, this means that we are here to love, grow, serve together. Thank you. I'm delighted to see everyone here. You are all royalty. Royalty within the universe. You really are. I was explaining this to some folks from India last night. They loved it. Let us start today by taking the unity prayer of oneness. Together, there is one presence and one power in my life and universe. God, the good, omnipotent. I like to say that with a dramatic voice. Today, I'd like to share our daily word with you. And I want to say a little more about the daily word. This is a big deal. How many people subscribe to the daily word? I don't know. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. I see what I meant. Well, that's very good. So do I. Worldwide, there are 2 million subscriptions or something like that. That's remarkable. When you read the daily word, you are praying with 2 million people about something. Wow. So I'm talking about mass consciousness. It's a big deal. Plug into it. It's yours for free. Now, the word. Today's word is, not that one, remembrance. Has anyone told you it's 9/11 today? You live in my heart. Whether they've passed on recently or many years ago, the people for whom I have cared deeply are alive in my heart. If I feel sad or lonely for those I miss, I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made them even ordinary days feel magical. I want to read that again better. I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made even ordinary days feel magical. Reflecting on the love and joy we shared and the blessings of their lives that they afforded me, I feel comforted. I am thankful that these memories will always be mine to treasure. Remembrance. I know that life does not end with death. Life is eternal, and my loved ones will always be beautiful, beloved expressions of spirit. I am grateful to those who have passed from this life experience, continue to live in spirit, and are forever in my heart. The scripture from Psalms, for the righteous will never be moved. They will be remembered forever. Announcements. Hello, Jim. Our first announcement, there is a board meeting Tuesday on Zoom. The second announcement, are you ready for this one? Reverend Robin will be here in person next week. Who doesn't know Reverend Robin? We know her. I'm delighted. She'll be in person Me too. The book club meets, let's see, that's different than what I've got here. Let's see. The affirmative prayer and meditation group will meet the first and third Tuesday evenings, 7:15 to 8 p.m. Set a prayerful energy for the church, the city, and the world, facilitated by Barbara Rolfe via Zoom. The Dialogue as Service group meets by Zoom on Wednesdays at 1 to 2:30 and continues our spiritual dialogue on, quote, the path of initiation. The Nature of the Soul is the next book in this series of creative thinking, also facilitated by Barbara Rolfe. The Unity Men's Group meets in person at the church on the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month, 9:30 a.m. for about an hour and a half. A Course in Miracles group meets Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. on Zoom. If you or a loved one is in need of prayer, please use the link on our website or call Silent Unity at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. 800-NOW-PRAY. All these links can be found on our website, which is Unity of Charlotte, unityofcharlotte.org. Now, share our affirmation for a new meeting space on the screen. Together, we affirm that we have a new home for Unity of Charlotte that fulfills every need for space and use in order to support and share our unified purpose to love, grow, and serve. And so it is. Om. And now I'd like to welcome our guest speaker today, Dr. Adrian Calabrese. She needs no introduction.
This is a very special day. And it's the anniversary of the tragedy of 9/11. As Fred had mentioned before, I was in New York on the day this happened, not down in the city. But a dear friend of mine was on the train going to work down at the World Trade Center. Thankfully, she was on the train when I got her on the cell phone and not down there. And it was a day I will never forget. Watching the television and seeing that tower burning and then seeing another plane hit the second tower. I feel like it was yesterday. And it had such an impact on all New Yorkers. We all felt it. And I think people felt it all around the world, and especially in our country itself. So today, I wanted to, before I begin my message today, I wanted to offer a prayer of anniversary for 9/11. And this is a prayer that I've adapted. It was written, I grew up a good Catholic girl and went to Fordham University, where the Jesuit priests were our instructors, our mentors. And this prayer was originally written by Brother Darrell Burns, Society of Jesus. And I came across it and made a few adjustments to it. So I've adapted a little bit, and I feel that we will grow from reading Brother Darrell's words. So I would ask that for a moment, just close your eyes for a moment and just think about the sacrifices that are made on our behalf. And just stay in that position as I read this prayer. Dear God, creator of all people and all nations, it is with sorrow we remember the tragic events that occurred on this day. We lift to you in prayer all those who died in the Twin Towers, at the Pentagon, and on United Airlines Flight 93. We entrust them to your loving care. Console their families, friends, and all who mourn this loss, in the hope that all who trust in you find peace and rest in your grace. We pray for those who courageously responded to provide aid and comfort to the afflicted. May their painful memories of that day be healed and transformed into strength. We pray for ourselves as we seek your strength. We live in the aftermath of this tragedy and under the shadow of future acts of aggression. We stand in need of and give great thanks for your guidance. Dear God, may we put an end to fear by resolving to live lives that are based on respect for one another, by resolving to abide in a peaceful manner and never settle disagreements in our lives in a violent way, by resolving not to fall into the trap of blaming entire ethnic groups, races, or religions in response to acts of hostility, by resolving that joy, not revenge, prevail in our world. Let us resolve that in the face of hatred, we will show love, that in times of despair, we will be voices of hope and creators of new dreams, that in times of darkness, we will be sources of light. Let us resolve that we never regard forgiveness as weakness, but rather as a source of strength in our lives and in our world. And let us honor the memory of nearly 3,000 individuals who died on September 11th, 2001. By resolving with your guidance, dear God, to truly live this way, so your love may be made known to others through us. And thus, may we all be taken into new light, new peace, new hope for the world. And so it is. Amen. Okay, everyone. And now we proceed. So I thought today a good topic would be how to handle our emotions going from fear to courage. You know, who put the ape in apricot? If you're as old as I am, you remember what that's from. The Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion. Just wanted courage. And when I was a student at Fordham, Bert Lahr, who played that role of the Cowardly Lion, was one of my instructors in theater there. And it's quite an honor to see him and to be in his presence. And I think about that whenever I think about gaining some courage. Where's that ape in the apricot? Our emotions can change our desires, and they can be blessings because they are messages that God is sending to us to lead us in certain directions in our lives and help us to get what we want, what we need, to desire anything that we choose to desire, and to find out what our life purpose may be. Why are we here on the planet? But some emotions can challenge us, and these are the two I'm talking about today: fear and courage. Fear is debilitating in so many ways. Courage is uplifting, it's enlightening. So we want to go from one extreme to the other. The rewards of going from one extreme to the other are great because they create self-value, self-esteem. They give us the sense that we have pride in what we can accomplish, that we are really strong, even though we think we may not be. You know, I always share with you some experiences that I've had myself in my own life. And many years ago, I was teaching at Iona College in New Rochelle, New York. And one day, and it was the start of the semester, and I'm looking out and I'm going through the roll, going through all the names, you know, call the names out. The student says here or whatever, you know, they acknowledge that that's me. Okay. And then I went through the whole roll and I see this one young woman sitting there, but she's not on my list. She didn't say anything. So I said, are you enrolled? Do I not have you on my sheet here? And she said, I'm not enrolled, but my husband is. And he couldn't make it today. So I decided to come in his place. I said, oh, well, that's good. That's fine. She said, is that all right? I said, yeah, that's fine. No problem. No problem. I'm glad you're here. So the class went on. And after class, she came up to me and she said, I really enjoyed this class. May I keep coming with my husband? I went, well, that's very flattering. Thank you very much. But I said, you know, you're supposed to pay for classes when you come to, that's how I get paid. But this woman was so sincere. And she said, I just have a high school education and I have always wanted to go to college. But my parents told me that I wasn't smart enough. That's all she had to say to me, right? Right? So I said, yes, you can come every time we have class. So she did. She came, her husband came, she came. She asked me another day, can I take the tests? Will you let me take the tests? I said, yeah, go right ahead. I gave her the tests, you know. And by the end of the semester, she had earned a B in the class. And her husband had earned a B as well. And at the end of that semester, she said to me, would you write a note to my parents to tell them what I've done so they understand that I can do this? I have been so afraid, she said, afraid of them, afraid that I couldn't, that I wasn't capable, that I'm not smart enough. And I said, I'll be happy to write that note to take home. The thought of this woman, and it's many years ago now, it's at least, 20, 25 years ago. I thought, wow, what is she doing today? Well, the next year I came in to teach again. And she came in the classroom. Again, I said, oh, I haven't seen you in a year. How you been? She said, I'm a student here. I enrolled. Overcoming that great fear that she couldn't. And so many of us have that feeling. I have another story for you. Here I have another student. I was teaching public speaking in Kansas, where I lived for many years in Wichita. And I had a student everybody's terrified of public speaking, right? Most people that are in those classes are. I am not one of them, but a lot of people are. So it's high up there on the fear scale, real high on the fear scale. So she came up to me before the class and she said, oh, professor, she said, every time I stand up to give a speech, I pass out. I said, oh, no. Oh, this is great. Now I have to deal with this poor woman going to pass out on me. I said, oh, geez. So I said, now you got to come in. I'll talk to you. You have to come aside from class. We'll work together so you can get up there. Okay. Long story short, she got up there to do her thing, her first speech, and she's shaking like a leaf. She's a mess. And I'm in the back and I'm going, making every kind of sign I could to let her know she's going to be okay. And she spoke and then she started to sway a little bit. And I thought, oh, here she goes. Now, how do I get up there? Because it was a big room. I had to run up I thought I'll have to run up there and hold her up so she doesn't pass out. She got through that speech. And after that, every other one, first time in her life, every speech class she ever took, she had to drop because she could not go forward. And I was delighted. The fear, what was the fear? The fear is the same thing. It's the same thing. Can I do this? Am I capable? Who am I? Am I courageous? Can I achieve what I want to achieve? Can I drop the fear and get brave, get with the program? I had a dear friend who went back to a graduate school at the age of 48. I had another friend who went to law school and passed the bar at 60. Fear kept them away from doing it sooner. Fear holds us back. Myself as well, always afraid. Oh, if I go into the theater, will I be successful? Or, can I do it? Will they like me? Am I thin enough, tall enough, short enough, fat enough, skinny enough? What am I? Can I do this? The fear. And I said, I got to push through this fear. I have to do it because then you won't achieve your dreams. We hold ourselves back by not grabbing onto courage. We have to move forward. That awful fear of failing, of not being enough is awful. It keeps us from the very thing that we came to the planet to do. You know, it's not all supposed to go like so smoothly. When we came, we accepted some challenges here that we decided we were going to transcend. We need to move beyond, transcend beyond this fear. We find the courage to do what we need to do, because fear can be overwhelming and overpowering and change us. You might not know that you're moving forward because you're too scared to realize you're actually doing good. You're actually getting where you want to go. You're actually doing what you want to do, but you may not realize it. You may not. You may think, well, I'm doing this, but I'm still scared. You know, like my students, I want to go to college and I want to get a degree, but you know, am I doing it? Am I doing it? You're here. You're doing it. You're alive. You're doing it. We don't recognize it in ourselves. And part of what we need to do is become aware. You know, you hear me say that all the time. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Know who you are and what you're doing, and tune yourself in. Turn yourself on. You can do it. People don't realize how courageous they are. There are people that they talk to on television all the time. You've seen these interviews where people say, you know, oh, you know, you jumped into that. How was it that you jumped into that water and dragged that child out of the... Oh, that was very brave. It was. A lot of people say, well, yeah, I had no choice. I just had to. I just had to. A lot of them don't even know they're heroes. And by the way, shameless plug, next time I see you, we're going to talk about heroes. But that's another day. People who are courageous just know they are moved to do something, and they know they are scared and they do it anyway. And isn't that what they say the definition of bravery is? Doing it even though you're scared, moving forward, even though it's daunting. You just have to do it. So, you know, I never leave you without words of what to do and how to do it. Because it's nice to say, well, you know, you can be strong, you can be brave, you can move through anything you want to move through. That's all pretty cool. But how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, I'm going to tell you. This is how you do it. When you feel a prompting to move in a certain direction, to accomplish something. Now, this prompting is very personal. It's very personal, and you got to pay close attention to it. Some people get prompted by just a feeling that they have. Maybe they have it in the solar plexus, or maybe they have a thought, or they have a yearning for something, or they have an idea about something. These are all what I call messages from God. These are all promptings that are coming from the God within you, that is connected to the universe, to the God that is in all of us, telling you that if you do this, it is not only going to be good for you, it's going to be good for everybody. Because that's how it works. All the good stuff we put into the universe comes right back from other good stuff. So when you feel a prompting, even though it's scary, give it some attention. Say, all right, what should I do here? I had this prompting, so many years ago, that told me you got to start a church. I said, what? I got to do a what? You got to start a church? I got to start a church? I'm a good Catholic little girl. How am I going to start a church? I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. What the heck? So I did, and ended up with the church for 20 years under my care. But I never expected to do that. I thought I was going to be in showbiz for the rest of my life. And I guess I am, right, Jim? Jim's going, you still are, kiddo. You see, you use whatever the talent you have to move forward to transcend that fear, because it's already there. You got it. You got the stuff. You got the stuff. And another shameless plug from my second book, 10 Spiritual Steps to a Magical Life. I talked about the shoes. Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, again, has the shoes. She clicks them together. And the fairy godmother tells her, you had the ability all along. And I say, use the shoes. Use the shoes. You got it. You got it. Yeah, it's scary, but you have to pay attention. You have to be aware, and you got to go with it. If the feeling, the urge, the desire is strong enough, you got to go with it. Because if you don't, you'll regret it. And you'll say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I didn't. And why didn't I? Because I was afraid. What are we afraid of? Especially in this day and age, that voice within you, the voice of God, is telling you what to do. It's telling you, move forward. You know it's a spiritual voice when it's not going to hurt anybody else. It's not like, it's telling you to go get a gun and go do some of these horrible things that we're hearing about here these days. No, when it is not harmful to anyone, when it can help other people, when it can grow you in a positive way, it's the voice of God within you. That is the urge that you need to follow and grab and move past that sense of fear that I can't, that even if I try, I can't. When the other voices come on in there and say, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, I can't. I don't think I have the ability. I don't think I have the talent. I don't think I have the strength. I don't think I have the motivation. I don't think I have the energy. All the I don't thinks are products of the ego. And the ego is apart from the voice of God. It's the human part of us that's telling us, you can't, you can't, you can't. It's like, the devil on the shoulder here. You ever see those little animated, there's a devil over there. Hey, you can't, you can't, you can't. The other one's going, you can, you can, you can. You can't, you can't, you can, you can't. Which way do I go? Because they're both pretty strong voices. The one that you pick is the key. What's the strongest voice, and what does the greatest good for you and God and others? That's how you decide to move forward. Is this going to benefit? And you have to be a little selfish. You have to say, is it going to be good for me? It's kind of like putting your mask on when you're on a plane. They say if you lose the pressure and the masks drop, you got to put your mask on first before you can help anybody else. It's the same thing. You got to do what's good for you so that you are strong enough to help someone else. So you got to be a little selfish. It's all right. It's cool. God doesn't mind. It's all right. And when that voice is talking, you can't do it. You're not good enough. Tell it to shut up. Go somewhere else. Haunt somebody else. Do not haunt me. Go elsewhere. Sometimes, and this is a tough one, everybody, you have to quiet those voices. Okay. You have to be aware. You have to quiet the voices. You got to push forward and recognize your dreams and your motivations. But sometimes you're going to do it alone. Sorry to say, you're going to be alone. You may be the only one that believes the way you believe in your whole family. You may be the only one who does something in your whole family. Everybody that you know is against what you want to do or who you are as a person. You may be a person who has an alternate sexual attraction and can't tell anyone in their family. There are extremes in every direction. But sometimes you got to stand alone and say, this is who I am and this is who I need to be. And that's not easy because it takes courage. It takes you saying, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm going to be strong now. I'm going to be strong. You have to keep telling yourself that. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be. I do it every day. Every day when I wake up, I say, okay, get it together. Get it together. Be strong. Get out there. Do what you got to do because you can do it. You have it within you. You have to let yourself be comfortable with being strong and being on your own, because that's how you create great things. And the residual effect is self-esteem, it's pride, it's accomplishment. There is so much to gain. You have to cultivate that spiritual independence. You have to say, I not only have moral independence, I have spiritual independence. So I want to believe what I want to believe too. And I should be allowed to believe what I believe. And in that belief, we gather our strength to overcome our fears, whatever your belief happens to be. That's what spiritual beliefs are supposed to do for us. Give us strength, give us courage, help us move forward, not stay stuck in a life where we used to be and unhappy in that place. No way, Jose. You need to believe what you want to believe and not what somebody else is telling you to believe. You know, when I first started out in the theater, people used to say to me, so you think you're going to do that? You think you can do that? You think you're going to make any money doing that? I said, well, I don't know, but I'm going to try and I'm scared to death. Well, and then people start to naysay around you, whatever it happens to be. In my case, it was, well, you know, there's a lot of competition out there and, you know, people are a lot younger than you. They have more talent. People will actually tell you these terrible things that you can't do it. What are you saying? What are you saying? Telling us that we are not capable, and we buy it, depending on who's saying it. We believe it because if we love someone enough and they are important to us, we figure they're right and we're wrong. But guess what? When that voice of God within you is talking to you, you can't be wrong. You can't. You can't. And so you move forward based on what you can do, not what you can't do. You have to move if you feel it's right and it's not hurting anybody and it's contributing to the greater good of your life and other people's lives. You got to move forward and you have to encourage it in other people. You know, part of the courage is to say, yeah, I can do this and so can you. Remember Jesus? Remember him? You know, anything I can do, you can do. Huh. It's not exactly the biblical quote, is it? But it's close enough. You get it. You get it. If I can do it, you can do it. And if we take people along with us courageously, yeah, we're scared. Come on, take my hand. Let's go. Let's do this together. Let's move forward. See hope where there seems to be despair. See promise where there seems to be none. See accomplishment, even though you don't think you have what it takes to accomplish anything. You have to see it in your mind. You have to affirm it in your head. You have to say, I can accept life's difficulties and transcend them and make my life a little bit better, not only for me, but for maybe for somebody else, maybe for just one person, just one. Like that little student I had in mind, just one. Thousands of students over the years, just one. When you know, I did something good here. We need to do a lot more of it because the more of that energy we engender, the less negativity swirls around in the universe and we start to change the tide on this horrific stuff that we're dealing with these days and what we dealt with on 9/11. We need to think about transcending and taking the good with us. Think like a hero, not a victim. Think I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. The little, what is that, the little engine that could, you know? And when you think more about what you can do and less about what you can't do, you begin to create what you want without doing a darn thing other than thinking it. Remember, we believe that thoughts create reality. Just start thinking in that direction, start moving in that direction, start believing in that direction, and things will change. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And it works. You pray, you meditate, you affirm, you dance, you sing, you do what you have to do to make it happy. And make the journey joyful, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be very joyful. And there are many instances in all of our lives that seem to take the joy away. You got to put it back in there, put it right back in. I have an affirmation for you here. as usual. And here it goes. The greatness of God runs through the very core of my being. I can face all fears and adversity that come my way because God is there within each moment of it. The God within me is greater than any difficulty, trauma, or tragedy I may encounter. God and I are one, and so it is. Thank you. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Keep saying that. Keep saying that. It is. The God within is greater than anything you may face. Remember, my students, the people that faced fear and transcended it. Face the fear. Do that thing. Take that class. Give that speech. Write that book. Do that dance. Whatever it takes to bring joy to your life and to the life of others. Don't let that voice of your ego get in your way. Tell them to take a hike. You embody the greatness of God. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. That's what you got. You got the best of all possible worlds right inside of you. Enjoy your life. Move from fear to courage. Enjoy every moment of it because we know how precious it can be. And then when you begin to think this way and move this way and do these things, you will know who put the ape in apricot. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all. All righty.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. Calabrese. I love to say that word, Calabrese. Makes me feel like I'm partly Italian. Well, I guess I am partly Italian. I want to speak a little bit about something she said. I want you to know about using the shoes. When you go out of this room today, use your shoes. Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate your response there. Thank you for an inspiring message. We move now into the offering part of our service. We know that as we give, we also receive. Join me in our offertory blessing. Together, joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.